Today, I want to give you the cheat code, the shortcut for conversion rate optimization. In the world of SEO and indeed marketing, people get overly fixated on traffic when, quite frankly, your biggest, fastest wins are probably going to come from improving your existing traffic. If you haven't worked on conversion rate optimization before, then the chances are you're missing out. I see so many websites all the time where when we talk about calls to action, we mean buttons, click here, etc. They're buried at the bottom, they're not very prominent. People always have this fear about they don't want to be too salesy, don't want to be too spammy, but there's a phrase marketers often use, which I really like, which is you have to sell so you can serve. They're coming to your website for your product, so make sure they see that product. Give them every opportunity to actually buy from you. On that note, I always talk about this with videos as well, because many YouTubers don't do it. If you are doing videos, then state your calls to action actually in the video, preferably quite early on. So that's why I say right now, go to SEOJesus.com, click on the Ranking Revelations newsletter. It's absolutely free, and you can get a wealth of my latest strategies that don't go on YouTube. On the other hand, if you do have a budget and you just want results, then click on apply. We do have a waiting list, but we can normally get you through it quite quickly if we think you're a good fit. And that's for our done for you SEO services. So high quality content and links, proven time and again to get great results for a wide array of clients. So that was just one example of conversion rate optimization for a video, but what about your blog posts, your pages on your website? So I'm going to give you an example of one of my old websites that I sold. Now, if we take the sort of average, it was only really getting around 4,000 visitors per month, but despite that, it was making more than $2,000 per month. And the reason for that is really dialed in conversion rate optimization. Now, I should say that conversion rate optimization should always be a constant learning process. You should be testing different things. But what I'm going to give you today is just a shortcut of some good templates, some good best practices that you can implement today, because personally, I'm terrible at measuring things. I'll set up experiments, never actually change the variables, never track the results. So generally, I much prefer to just take pretty good best examples. So it might not be the 100% example, but it could be 80, 90%. And just implementing that at scale is much better than just not implementing anything. So for this website, it was in the men's grooming niche. So first of all, right at the top, immediately after the first paragraph, we have these editors' picks. Now, I recommend doing this, doesn't matter what niche you're in, whether you're in affiliate, e-commerce, high ticket, the chances are you're speaking to 3 different types of audiences who land on your page. One is money as no object. They just want the premium right now, done for you option, no questions asked. Then you'll have budget shoppers who they might not be ready to buy yet, or maybe they are just towards the lower end and they're not ready to commit to a big spend yet. And then you have this sort of all-rounder, the value shoppers, who just want to weigh up the best of both. So it doesn't matter what niche you're in, I always recommend have the budget pick, a good all-rounder, and then a premium pick. So I do that with my own website. So you see I've got the free Ranking Revelations newsletter, because the vast majority of you watching this will not be prepared to commit to the done for you plan. And then down the bottom, I'm developing other products around consulting, membership. These are all aimed to address different price points, different stages in the buying funnel. I've had people sign up for a consulting call, which is actually a very expensive way of getting my help, who then go on to the done for you service, which is much better value. So basically the point is you want to make sure that every single person who comes to your site has got the opportunity to buy something. And when I say buy something, that could just be a free giveaway, giving them your email address. So you can see this is ranking for best safety razor. At the time it ranked really well. And the idea was we have premium options, low budget options, and a good all-round value option. So the idea is basically no one landing on this page has got an excuse to click the back button without investigating one of these further, one of these options, because we're talking to those different avatars. Now, obviously, buttons are very prominent. We also make the images clickable. So clickable images is always a good idea. Now, for the call to action, ideally you want to play around with different designs and text. For affiliate stuff, check price is normally a good option, because ultimately you want to get that click to tag your affiliate link on the visitor. But if it's your own product, it depends on what the product is, but generally apply now, inquire now, those are all good. I would always say you probably don't want to force them into a sale just yet. You just want to get them to the next stage in the funnel. So just a step further. So in the consideration phase, You want them to get them into the ready to buy phase. So see my options, whatever, add to cart, perfectly. Now, if we scroll down, quite often I like to include a comparison table as well. So we have 3 editors picks at the top. Notice I also put these in price order, which means on mobile, you'll see the most expensive pick first and then the cheapest pick last. Now, that's a common psychological trick where basically, if you line up all your options, have the most expensive option first, and then your other options will actually seem better value. So it means the premium buyers who want the best, they can get the best right away. But it also means if it were the other way around, your premium buyers could be put off by the fact that a cheaper price gets higher and higher, and so easily a value shopper might be put off by the fact that the prices seem to go up the further they scroll down. So hit them the hardest with the expensive option, and then follow up with the lower priced options, and it makes the lower priced options seem to value. Now, whether it's a blog post, whatever, you want to treat it like a proper landing page. So you want some authenticity, reviews, things like that. Wherever you can get those in, the better. So generally, it doesn't matter if it's landing page, blog post, I tend to put things like reviews, certifications, all of that, just below the call to action. So remember, ideally, we already want people who are in the buying mood. They've landed, they've seen some good options, and they've already clicked through. But then you want to try and validate that choice a bit more. They might have come back and they want to read further. So reinforce initial decision to buy. And then this is a classic affiliate roundup. Now I tend to do links in the heading, the image, and the check price button. Again, for higher ticket stuff, you might want to do check availability, something like that. Again, it depends on your exact market, and it is quite often worth testing. I also recommend including text links, because sometimes it's a bit like banner blindness. People might not click on an image or a button, but they will click on a text link. If you're really doing some serious CRO, then it's worth applying separate tracking links to each of these to work out which converts the best. And this is pretty much it. Now, hopefully if we scroll down far enough, I can't remember if we applied this to this page or not, but normally roughly 30% of the way down, we actually want a pop-up to trigger that's got some sort of call to a different page. This page has actually got the comparison table. So we have editor's picks at the top. Then we have a few more sort of wordy editorial recommendations. So we're going into the nuance of, in this case, we're actually targeting different keywords to help the page rank better, but we're also trying to make it a bit more sort of persuasive sales letter. So some people might just skip straight past the images and the cards, whereas they're reading the text and suddenly they go into this very specific recommendation of, if you want a silver top badger hairbrush, then you want this one. If you want the best synthetic shaving brush, you want this one and this one. So this is just a good summary overall. Plus, this kind of thing can help you win feature snippets. Google loves it when you can be direct early on and talk in a machine-friendly, NLP-friendly fashion, which is basically keeping it direct and to the point. Then we have the comparison chart. So again, a lot of repetition here, but it just means people can skim through it. It means by the time they actually get to the reviews, they've already seen the calls to action about 3 times. So finally they get down here where again it's heading, image, button, and then text links. There is some concern amongst the SEO community that having too many affiliate links in an article might be bad for SEO. That might be the case for an affiliate site. I don't really buy that. I don't really believe it. But again, it's worth testing. But if you're an e-commerce site, then you're not actually sending people away from your page. So I don't think that's a problem at all. And generally what you find with these things is we don't sell enough. If you sell more, then there might be a negative impact, but you'll probably make a lot more money as a result. The best case study I've ever seen about this was actually to do with email marketing, where they basically tested what happens if we just email our list every day. Because most people, they don't email their list enough and they don't want to be too commercial. So they send info emails once a week. So in this experiment, they sent a commercial email, so a product-based email every single day. And yes, they got a lot of unsubscribers, but they also made a lot of money. So generally with these things, we're all far too conservative. Remember, these are people who are in a buying mood, but we've still got to ram it down their throats, really force them to actually take action. Now, hopefully if we scroll down, that should, there we go, trigger the pop-up I mentioned. So in this case, I put quite a lot of effort into actually building this in Elementor. So that 30% of the way down the page, this then pops up with that final editor's pick. Because what we're trying to eliminate here is a lot of choice fatigue. That's one reason why we have the editor's picks at the top, Because yes, we want a comprehensive article, but actually studies have shown people hate making decisions. I'm certainly the same. If you give me one option for dinner, I'm generally very happy. If you give me a full menu and I like 5 things on there, I'm going to be there ages. So experiments have shown with points of sale in a shop where you've got this display with all these different flavours of, I think it was chutneys or something like that, or was it marmalade, something like that. And basically it was shown that the stand that only had 3 varieties sold much better than the stand with 10, 20 varieties, because given too many options, people tend to take no option. So here we're reducing it down to 3, then we open it up a bit, but ultimately we really want to funnel people towards one single premium pick, because we know that's the one we're going to make the most money. So what about with parasite SEO? Parasite SEO is a little more complicated because obviously you don't really have much control over what the page actually is. But even then, all my parasite posts, I'll put, again, first paragraph is text, and then immediately into calls to action. And even then, I won't necessarily mention the brands. I won't say, go here to buy them and link the brand name. I'll try and keep that secret so they have to click the link to find out what the provider is, rather than simply seeing the provider and then going and Googling directly where I don't get the commission. And I'll tend to repeat this throughout an article. In this case, I'll also put in a video. Videos are very good, especially for higher ticket stuff, because in this case, I just want to get more engagement on my video and keep that ranking and trending. But actually, psychologically, especially for high ticket stuff, they say you're much more likely to sell to someone the longer the time you spend with them. Now, most people see that as things like webinars, and that's why often if you're in some sort of high ticket coaching environment or high ticket services, they'll never send you an email. They'll always say, let's have a call, let's do this, and they'll try and drag it out for ages because they know that after an hour-long call, you're much more likely to be invested in them. So videos are great because it's completely passive on your part, but to someone watching who's actually looking for your answer, then they spend a lot of time with you and therefore trust your recommendation more. Here's a course offer where, again, I've done all that, so skip to the topic now, click here. So they have to click that link. I've used a redirect to actually hide the affiliate link, so that way they have to click on that link in order to find out what the top recommendation is. Also with LinkedIn, you can actually put in images and put links in the images, so that's really good. So most of my LinkedIn Parasite posts, I'm starting to do this now, especially if the actual website, the provider, has any of their own calls to action. So here they've got a video, they've got click here for current classes, they've got the countdown timer. This just looks really clickable. So for a lot of people just browsing on Google on their phones, they won't necessarily notice that it's a LinkedIn article. They'll just click on it and then see this video, see the button, and click on that and go straight through to the provider. And it's the same thing with Reddit Parasite SEO. In fact, I would say it's even more important with Reddit because we're in the discussion where all these people are throwing these different brand names around, so someone can very quickly scan through and decide, I want that brand name, and they'll go away and find that brand name. We don't want to do that. We want to send them through our link. So this is a question in the SEO subreddit saying, what's the best way to raise your Google ranking? So I've already managed to push my comment to the top. And I said, I find the quickest win is just in identifying pages that are already performing quite well and rewriting them with this tool. It's a correlational tool that analyzes the top 10 results for best practices, then hit the new page with backlinks. Got that from SEO Jesus on YouTube, and the results were amazing. So this is a link to Surfer SEO, as I consistently recommend and use all the time. So I could have just put Surfer SEO in here, but to me that both answers the question too much, it doesn't leave enough curiosity to the visitor, and it allows them to go and find Surfer elsewhere rather than with my affiliate link. Whereas this sparks immediate curiosity, so they're going to go through to the actual sales page, get sold by the actual merchant. It just pushes them through the process much faster. It helps them make that next step. Another example here, I'm helping a friend with their dog training business, very early stage. But basically, as usual, I've used ChatGPT with Surfer to craft a perfectly optimized page of content that I'm certain is going to rank. But new next step, this is a new business owner. First thing, that they don't understand SEO in the first place, they're still definitely not going to understand conversion rate optimization either. So even if this page ranks, I think it's very unlikely they're actually going to know that we actually need to push those website visitors through the funnel to actually booking an appointment. So I said straight away, we'll put in this big bright button. Again, it's after the first lines of text. Remember, on a phone, even a few paragraphs can be quite long. So I probably actually put this further up, because even after just 2 lines here, on a phone, that's probably 3 to 4 lines. And we said limited places available, click here to reserve yours. This company goes to a lead form. Normally for this kind of service business, I probably recommend having two options. One is just the call now button, and one is a lead form option. And remember, with that button, if you put in the link tel, T-E-L, colon, and then the phone number, then that's basically HTML code that means if someone's on a mobile device, they click that button, it will automatically start dialing. So that's very powerful. But a lot of people don't like phones. You might not be available all the time, so it's good to have a lead form there as well. Now, there's a lot of fun you can play around at that stage. So once someone's submitted a lead form, this is actually a failing I've currently got on SEO Jesus. If you apply now, you will just get a thank you for applying step. But when someone's filled in a form like this, that's when they're already ready to buy from you. They have said that. So I'd always recommend any form like that, redirect them to some sort of little bonus, some sort of little offer, where it might not be the full $2,000 a month package, but it could just be a small sample of something. So a little upsell. I've spoken to those people in conversion rate optimization, certainly in the courses and sales funnels niches and coaching, and they always say anytime you have a thank you page, put some kind of upsell on there, some sort of order bump, where they can just add a little bit more to their order, and that will have big benefits there. So we're already getting beyond simple page design and more into proper sales funnel territory, which deserves many videos all on its own. But we can finish off just with this application page actually. So we have information about the service, apply now. Then we have client testimonials. Like I say, personally, I like to have all those reinforcing things right after the call to action. So I'm scrolling down here, I've got the information, so I'm ready to buy. I'm thinking about clicking here, let's scroll down. Okay, here's a load of stuff that reinforces my decision that I should click that button and apply. Keep the calls to action going throughout the page. If there's one action you want your visitors to take, keep hammering home that action, because humans are lazy, humans are blind. I've literally given talks where I've been very careful not to be too salesy, because it's a speaking event, you don't want to be too pitchy, but I've literally been saying, here's a case study from one of my clients, and in my agency, we do this. And then afterwards, people would come up to me and they said, so do you take clients then? It's like, yes, so you've really got to hammer things home with these people. Then I've got FAQs, further information, and then apply now. And I've spoken about this before. When you fill this in, you're actually getting an automatic WhatsApp response. So for a business like this, like dog training, where you might not necessarily be ready straight away, and don't forget that they're probably going through signing up with all your competitors at the same time to get a quote. So if you can get back to them with an instant WhatsApp message and start that dialogue, then that just gets you further ahead in that process and closer towards a sale. But just to summarize, what's the 80-20? So editors picks, doesn't matter if it's affiliate or if it's your own products, have premium option, all-rounder, budget option, address all those core personas. Then the 30% of the scroll down the page and on page exit intent, I want a big pop-up that basically either gets their email address with some sort of lead magnet or just funnels them back towards that core offer. Kind of depends on the niche, but it's worth testing. Then calls to action spread throughout the page. If this were an advert for a single high-ticket offer rather than an affiliate listicle, it wouldn't actually look that different. I'd still want features and benefits plus call to action. Big button, buy now. Some people tend to bury their calls to action much further down the page. Generally, I'm often wrong about this, but generally I take the assumption that no one's actually going to scroll past 30% of the page. So I really stuff everything into the top 20%, as you can see. So editor's picks, comparison table, not forgetting the text links as well. So a sort of executive summary at the top with links in there, and then buttons all the way down the page. So those are the websites struggling at the moment. E-commerce generally fine. Affiliate sites not so good with Google. So this is always the next step. When your traffic's suffering, double down on conversion rate optimization. See if you can squeeze more value, more money out of every website visitor.